Welcome back, everybody. I'm Cecilia Huergo, and we're here in Channel 1 with Thomas.
Hello.
And these next 2 hours are going to be jam-packed with digital transformation. So, we have a lot to cover. First off, we're going to start off with a strategy talk from Gilg. He is the president of SAP S/4HANA, and he's going to be sharing the importance of SAP S/4HANA. He's going to be talking about the on-prem edition, the cloud edition. He's going to be sharing the roadmap. He's going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, extensibility, as you know, because where do you extend your applications on the cloud? On SAP Cloud Platform. And he's also going to be sharing some new release updates that we've incorporated based mainly on your feedback. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting session to say the least. And Thomas, what else do we have for this hour?
Yeah, of course, community talk. Move to S/4HANA is very important for a lot of the customers out there. And I think it's always great to have someone from the community who went through the journey of moving to S/4HANA, talking about it. Tips and tricks, tools, everything what's there. Tammy, Powlas and Michel Grepo are walking you through that one. So really exciting community talk coming up later.
Yeah, excellent. And again, as we've been saying for the entire TechEd, it's super important to get that outside-in perspective. We are not just SAP talking about SAP. We also want our customers, we want our community members, we want our partners, we want everybody to talk about the technology that we're offering, right? And they can give us their experience.
Yeah, it's all about the experience, and I think this is the great chance here at TechEd, customer session, community sessions, hear it from the expert at SAP, and I think it's also another point for everybody. Use the chat function, the Q&A function. The experts are in the background. We have sessions where they have a hard time catching up with all the questions, so we are with them, but it's exactly a chance also to connect with them online to ask all your questions.
Yeah, definitely. Again, of course, we're here on Channel 1. We're here for you guys. We're here to kind of guide you and show you and give you recommendations and also show very interesting stuff. But please remember that you can still register on the TechEd website, and through the TechEd website, you can get a lot more content. You can access all the content tracks. They're completely free. There's no restrictions, no limitations for the content there's available. So you can check out strategy talks, customer talks, lectures, breakouts, whatever you want. And you can also, when you're watching them, when they're streaming live, you can also access the Q&A function, which I think is one of the most important aspects, because you can get, like Thomas said, your questions answered directly from the experts. So there's a lot of people in the back end, waiting for your questions, and very happy to answer them. All right. And we also want to remind you that when we do see the strategy talk here on Channel 1, you can also ask questions. So please engage with the Q&A. You just saw earlier with Michael Ameling, he also had a strategy talk. There were some questions answered through the tool, but then he was here afterwards, and he was also able to answer some more questions live. So again, we're looking for your feedback. We're looking for your questions. We really want to engage with you in this virtual format and be able to give you as much content and as much information as you want.
Yeah, and I think we are almost up for the next talk, strategy talk. Jan Gilg, super cool dude. He knows SAP S/4HANA in and out. So I think that's really exciting to have him coming up with the strategy talk.
Yeah. All right. So with that, let's cue the strategy talk.
Hello, everyone. Before I begin, I have a question for you. Did Einstein believe in time? Now, you're probably wondering why I'm asking such a question at a TechEd talk. Well, first of all, to capture your attention, I hope I was successful with that. Second, I believe there is in fact an interesting correlation, because time plays a critical role when we talk about business and technology. Einstein showed us that time is an illusion, and it is actually relative, and it can vary for different observers depending on your speed through space. People who actually believe in physics, they know that the distinction between past, present, and future is only an illusion, and true reality is timeless. But what do Einstein's ideas now of special relativity have to do with business strategy, processes, and execution? In many ways, we see the past as the evolutionary journey of where we came from in ERP. With almost 50 years of experience, SAP has been the market leader in this industry, with the transition from a heritage of on-premise client-server software to a new reality now of cloud-based businesses, processes, and services. to a revolutionized intelligent ERP. It's an ecosystem of the future that will actually see several paradigm shifts in the industry. And with the changes in business environments, ERP is also changing. It has to change. And COVID-19 is accelerating this trend for sure. The future of intelligent ERP exhibits the future of intelligent businesses. And with that, we have to reinvent how businesses run. This is how we know that by influencing the present, we make it our future. And our vision is what makes it timeless. So my name is Gilg, and I'm the president of SAP S/4HANA. And today I would like to give you an update of our broader strategy, and within that, the role that SAP S/4HANA plays for SAP. So if we look into our overall strategy, and we just came out of an extensive exercise of refreshing our strategy, which we called Reinvent. And you can see the picture here that shows at the heart of everything the Intelligent Suite, which is really SAP S/4HANA and all our LOB solutions that we have partially acquired over the last couple of years, but also built organically. Next to it, you see the Industry Cloud. And that is rather new. We have started to build that out since the beginning of the year. And this is really an idea of building now specific vertical applications that are complementary to our Intelligent Suite, that are tightly integrated into our Intelligent Suite. But they can differentiate for our customer in their respective industry. And we have done that together with our partners. So this is also a big partner ecosystem play. And we have seen initial partnerships already, for example, with Honeywell, what we are doing in the real estate space or intelligent building space. There's other partnerships that are in the making, and many partners that come on board and build specific capabilities where they see white spaces from SAP and complement with that our portfolio. There's a bunch of cross topics that are super critical, and those represent also growth drivers for us, since they are very adjacent to what we're doing in the core. One topic, obviously, is experience management. This is something we have talked about since the acquisition of Qualtrics. Embedding experience management and experience data into our end-to-end processes that we cover with our transactional systems. And with that, driving additional insights by combining operational data and experience data, we can really drive those insights that are unprecedented. Another cross topic is sustainability management, and we have started to talk about that since the beginning of the year. And I believe that at the end of the day, this is something where SAP really has truly a right to win. Think about the fact that more than 70% of the world transactions touch an SAP system. The breadth that our portfolio is covering in terms of end-to-end business processes. So we really see supply chains end-to-end. We understand how products are being made, how they are shipped across the globe, and what the carbon footprint is actually that's being created while doing so. And going forward for customers, it's not going to be optional to take sustainability into consideration when they take corporate decisions. If they decide if they want to build a new plant, they have to take sustainability aspects into account. And we want to be there and be available to offer that kind of information again, give customers the ability to simulate different options, and then also being able to put that in action right away, changing certain trading partners, changing and adjusting supply chains in terms of what kind of materials to be bought from which supplier in which country and so on. So this is the strength that SAP has, and therefore sustainability management will be a core component, and we introduced it as a third dimension into our ERP system. Next to looking into profitability and operational efficiency, and the second into growth and how we support with S/4HANA the growth of our customers. And the third dimension is, like I mentioned, sustainability. We call it the green line. This is really giving them then an additional decision criteria on, based on carbon footprint and based on the usage of natural resources and so on. So certainly a big topic, and you will hear us talk about that more and more in the coming months and years. Another cross topic is really business network. We did acquire the largest business network a couple of years ago with Ariba, with a strong focus on procurement. In the meantime, we built other networks in the supply chain space for logistics or for asset intelligence. And we are bringing this together now into one holistic, unified SAP network. For customers, by virtue of being an SAP customer, we will connect you into this network, extend your processes end-to-end into your network, and actually connect to your trading partners, whether those are suppliers, third-party logistics providers, banks, whatever they are. And with that, we also allow visibility into those networks, which is super critical, as we have seen now in the last couple of months through the pandemic. Last but not least, the business technology platform is obviously front and center of our platform strategy. We are building our innovation from SAP on the business technology platform. We invite our partners to build their innovation on the business technology platform, and we are building industry innovation on the business technology platform. And that is going forward really the target platform for SAP, and this is why we put so much emphasis on that. It will offer the ability to connect into the SAP world, to integrate into the SAP world. We will expose our domain models, our data models on this platform. So it will be front and center of our strategy going forward. So let's look into SAP S/4HANA. You see it's positioned right at the core of the Intelligent Suite. And it does cover a broad range of capabilities from finance over ERP to digital supply chain. And this is certainly not going to change. It sits side by side with other solution areas like people, everything around human experience management, then intelligent spend management with, some of the acquisitions, Ariba and Fieldglass, but also Concur, and then finally customer experience. So SAP S/4HANA at the center of the Intelligent Suite. And then let's look into how ERP as such is actually evolving. For those that remember in the early 90s and early 2000s, it was pretty much a very monolithic proprietary stack. And it was all ABAP based. We had the business suite, and but at the end of the day, they were all sitting on the same stack. And then the cloud came, and customers started to look out for capabilities that they could easily deploy in the cloud, typically driven by the line of business. And we saw that many capabilities actually moved into the cloud, like procurement, like Salesforce automation, and so on. But they had to be integrated back into the core. And that has caused a lot of effort and also on the IT side. And that became the new art, so to speak. How do you run end-to-end processes now across a hybrid landscape? Going forward, we do believe that the advantages of having the flexibility of such an architecture will outweigh the complexity of integration. And if a company can offer this kind or ease the kind of integration to our customers, I think those will be the winners. And this is exactly what we want to do. We want to continue to evolve ERP into a composable suite, which means you have pieces of LOB functionality that have to be best in class. They have to be able to compete with the best of breed vendors in the market, but they come actually pre-integrated along those end-to-end processes, which has always been the strength of SAP. We've always shipped best practices, and in the cloud we do that even more prescriptive. We continue to evolve those best practices, and content development is equally important than code. So we will always ship those end-to-end capabilities along those end-to-end processes, and the glue in between is the so-called suite qualities. So we make sure that each of the LOB capabilities has built in certain qualities like a unified user experience, like a unified domain model, technical aspects and characteristics like a unified provisioning and the same downtime windows and maintenance cycles. So those things will then make it again a suite, but it offers customers an individual point of departure for their journey to the cloud and for their digital transformation towards an intelligent enterprise. And I think it's critical to understand that then we will be able to package commercially very differently and give customers much more flexibility there, while technically we are decoupled. And this is what we are working on. Of course, we do that because customers demand that. It's all driven by customer demand, and customers do need the flexibility and agility in order to react quickly to changing environments and changing business requirements. And this is not possible if you sit on a monolithic stack. And this is why we're going to continue to evolve our architecture towards a composable suite. The other aspect that's super critical in this context is data. I believe that ERP will become extremely data-driven. The transactional aspects will become secondary because transactions will be automated more and more. And we already see with S/4HANA an increased degree of automation compared to the ECC world before, because we are embedding technologies like machine learning or robotic process automation. So you split the world basically into commodity processes, which are really focused on cost optimization and automation, where we deliver best practices and standardization. And this is what customers are looking for. They do want to standardize on those processes. They don't want custom code and extensibility there anymore. They really want to focus on operational efficiency. On the other side, you have the differentiating world, and you will always have that differentiation. And customers want to be able to build out those processes where they believe they are differentiating. They can use the cloud platform to do so, and we again will give them intelligence actually in the system that helps them make the right decisions. And this intelligence is actually based on data, and it's not only the operational data. We have embedded that already since the inception of S/4HANA, where we said one of the key value propositions has always been the convergence of OLTP and OLAP workloads. And we have embedded analytics into each transaction and given, recommendation and insight in the moment. Now we are taking that a step further. We allow other data sources to come in, like the experience data or like sensor data. In our IoT or Industry 4.0 scenarios, we actually connect to machines, we collect this data, and we optimize manufacturing processes, and again create insights that wasn't possible before. Let me give you one example of an intelligent process and how we do that. If you take the invoice to cash process, 90% automation is what we're seeing here. And let me take you step by step through that so you understand that it's always a combination of different technologies that we use in order to automate and make those processes intelligent. So starting here with an incoming remittance advice that's detected and loaded into SAP S/4HANA, and we're using a bot here based on robotic process automation technology that's built into S4. Second, then the payments, the details are extracted, the payments advices are created in SAP S/4HANA, and the payments are matched with open receivables. And this is where we use machine learning algorithms in the background. Then the system alerts the user that one of the invoices due was actually excluded from the payment. This is where we use situations technology. That's a framework that we build into S4 that really allows to monitor business events in the background and then react and pull in the user based on exceptions. Afterwards, the dispute case is created and the email is sent to the customer. Again, that is done by a bot. The same is true for the monitoring of the mailbox and attaching the customer reply to the the dispute case. Again, those are all bots that are at work here. So everything that's competitive by nature and very repetitive by nature is done by bots in the system. And then finally, the user uses actually the conversational AI, which is our digital assistant, to find and retrieve the dispute case details. So you can see how we make this whole process intelligent by combining different technologies that we have within SAP S/4HANA, and we do that throughout all the processes that we support. So with that, we also reimagine a lot of the processes. They really work very differently than they used to be in the past because we don't have those technological limitations anymore. And there's more to come. So we continue to deliver, use cases and intelligent processes. And there's some deep dive sessions available then here at TechEd as well. You can see them referenced here. Just to name a few examples, self-auditing finance, where we actually empower the finance system to monitor itself based on and check whether it's still in compliance or not. And in case there's a deviation, basically it takes some self-healing measures in order to get back into compliance or pull the user in if necessary. It's always both routes. How much automation do you allow the system to do? It always has to do with trust. And then you always have the ability to pull in the user. Parallel ledgers and currencies, something that is really redone end-to-end within S/4HANA, leveraging the power of the underlying HANA database. Or next generation just-in-time processing or creation of sales order based on unstructured content. So this is all happening here. This is all functional innovation that we deliver based on technologies that are intelligent. And then finally, you saw that SAP S/4HANA sits in the center of the Intelligent Suite. It's also at the core of the Intelligent Enterprise. So we discussed those end-to-end macro processes that we are offering and that we are covering, and SAP S/4HANA is actually being touched by all of them. What now is necessary, if you think about an end-to-end process that always includes more than S/4HANA as a solution, but for instance also SuccessFactors or IBP or whatever it is, you need to have certain central tools so it makes the solution look and feel like actually one product. And that is, for example, the central business configuration. This is something we had just released, and it is actually the tool then to push configuration into all of the connected solutions. It works for now with SAP S/4HANA in the cloud, but we will continue to evolve that really as a tool to enable the Intelligent Enterprise. And then I discussed the suite qualities. There's also deep dive session available here at TechEd, but you see some of the examples here, the user experience I mentioned, but also easier things like the one workflow inbox. If you think about connected solutions, they all have usually their user notifications and workflows, bring it all together into one inbox. Aligned domain models I mentioned, and we will also expose those domain models into the cloud platform, so make it possible then for the partner ecosystem to come in and build again solutions leveraging those domain models and easily integrate into the SAP world. The architecture evolves. I mentioned the modernization, modularization that is necessary on the ABAP side. We continue to modernize the stack here and also modularize. That is necessarily to achieve the vision of a composable ERP, even within ABAP. And ABAP is not, I don't see ABAP going away anytime soon. But in parallel, we also innovate on the cloud platform. I mentioned that we are building new capabilities on the cloud platform. Whether those are LOB capabilities or industry capabilities. We do that jointly with our partners, and then eventually the S/4HANA suite will really be a combination of composable services that are sitting on different technologies. But for the customer at the end of the day, it doesn't matter in the cloud anyway, because he consumes a service he buys at the end of the day in SLA, and we offer him and assemble him the solution that he needs. So let me talk about a topic which I believe is really critical going forward, which is extensibility. If you remember, especially in the on-premise world, obviously it was possible to extend SAP ERP the way you wanted to. In fact, the ERP platform was pretty much a development platform because there was no restriction by SAP if you could use any technical object that was available in there, like any function module, any class, everything could be used by a developer in order to extend and put their own code in there. Also, it's possible to change the code that SAP delivers, which is called a core modification. And that has then over time really made it almost impossible or extremely difficult for our customers to upgrade their system. And we have seen already with the adoption of the former enhancement packs in ECC and now also with the releases in S4 that customers are starting to fall behind. They cannot consume, even though they want to, the latest innovation that we ship. And therefore, we said we need to get a better grip on extensibility, and we need to bring in more of a cloud mindset in terms of what is allowed and what's not allowed. We also see that in the on-premise world, the side-by-side extensibility has not really caught on yet entirely. So we see that many customers starting to adopt the cloud platform. They start to build some of the extensibility on the cloud platform, but by and large, still a lot of development happens on the ABAP platform in terms of extensibility. So what do we want to do going forward? So first of all, we do want to protect the core much more, just like we do in the SaaS world in SAP S/4HANA Cloud. We actually don't allow core modification, obviously. No cloud provider would ever allow that in order to be able to upgrade the system, which we do once a quarter. What we are going to introduce in the public cloud is actually a new extensibility concept with so-called steampunk. So that's an ABAP environment that is much, much more powerful than the existing in-app extensibility that we have today in S/4HANA Cloud. We will offer then a couple of thousand internal APIs that are stable and that can be used by developers to extend the solution in-app. And then on the cloud platform, obviously, it's possible, and we will push this much more, to extend the solution side by side. And here again, we have two environments. We have an ABAP environment, again with Steampunk on the cloud platform, and we have the Java environment where you can then interface into SAP S/4HANA. The prerequisite for that is obviously that we offer APIs. And by the end of 2020, we already offer more than 420 APIs in the public cloud. We have already downported this year a lot of those APIs in the on-premise world, and we continue to heavily invest actually in building out APIs because that's a prerequisite that this whole thing is going to work. In the on-premise world, it's always optional. I can't forbid a customer to modify their system. We can make this more attractive financially, potentially, and we can help with governance and guidance. We are working with the SI community to really help the customer to keep the core clean. I think that's really a prerequisite in order to allow them to consume the innovation that we ship. And I think at the end of the day, it is almost bringing a cloud mindset and also in the on-prem world. And this is what we hear from many, many customers that they want to do that. And we see many partners that have started to embark on that journey already with us. They started to build on the cloud platform. Even former partners that have built add-ons in ABAP, they are now looking into how can I do that and offer that in more of a side-by-side way that is decoupling it from the lifecycle of the underlying core application. So here we also have a deep dive available in TechEd, and I think that topic will be front and center for us in the next couple of months. Speaking of how we deliver and how we ship innovation to our customers, we do have a cloud-first policy. So we develop in the cloud first. We make that available every quarter today to our customers. And then once a year, we downport this into the big on-premise release. We just released SAP S/4HANA 2020. And going forward, we will continue to see a release to customer, but probably not 4 times a year because we get the feedback that this is too much, and we scale it back to 3 times or 2 times a year. However, we also introduce so-called continuous feature delivery. So we will, just like in a cloud-native SaaS-like environment, also in ABAP, continuously ship features into production. They will not be available for customers immediately. They will be toggled, and they can be made available on request. So this is also something where customers often tell us, I need something. I know it's coming in the next release. Maybe it's already ready, so why don't you make it available to us? And we don't have the means to do that today, so we will have that available very shortly. We have actually started already to do that, and we will increase the amount of code that we ship actually continuously then over the next couple of years and months. So for us, super critical, continuous feature delivery from a way how we develop and how we make innovation available. And then for our customers, critical, only 2 or 3 release to customers where they have then to consume all this innovation. And in the on-premise world, it remains with once a year. S/4HANA is available in the cloud and in on-premise. So there's 2 product variants, basically. They do have things in common, though. One thing to mention is certainly the joint semantic, but also the joint data model and the unified user experience. Also, I talked a lot about intelligence and how we make those processes more intelligent, and that's available in the cloud as well as in on-premise. And then integration, a very critical topic where we have invested heavily in the last 2 years and we continue to focus on. In the cloud, we have released a lot of out-of-the-box integrations now with our acquired LOB solutions like Ariba, Concur, Fieldglass, and so on. And we have worked in 2020 specifically to also bring that into the hybrid world, which is the reality for many of our customers. So we continue to make those integration scenarios available for both worlds, cloud to cloud, as well as on-premise to cloud. In the cloud itself, we obviously focus a lot on operational experience and the cloud qualities because we as a provider take care of everything there. We update the system and we operate the system completely for the customer. The customer basically just pays a subscription. At the end of the day, is interested in the SLA that we deliver, but not so much in how we operate the system and how we do that. So we focus a lot on the so-called cloud qualities. In on-premise, it's still obviously completely the choice of our customers what they do with the solution. And I mentioned before, I talked about extensibility. Of course, customers can change the code that we ship, but we want to encourage them not to do that and maybe help them not to do that. But at the end of the day, they own the solution. What's important, in my opinion, is that they are very flexible with how they deploy the solution. They can do that in their own data center. They can do it on a hyperscaler or on a private cloud, where we also offer a solution, but it's all basically the on-prem code line, if you will. What's critical is that we will continue to ship innovation there as well. I mentioned that with the release strategy that we have. And we've given a commitment until 2040, at least, for SAP S/4HANA. So we will continue to provide an innovation roadmap for those customers. And I think that is pretty unique in the marketplace. And that is a commitment that you get from SAP, that your investment here is also protected for the years to come. Having shown you where our journey in ERP began, you have seen how our future has grown to increasingly influence our present strategy. We are blurring the lines between times with technology and creating spaces for innovation. In the same way that our strategy links our future with what we face today and the speed with which we reach tomorrow. We are committed to keep up this momentum with passion and the right technologies for our customers and to keep the enterprise intelligent. Thank you for joining my session today. We are really looking forward to your participation at further sessions to discover SAP S/4HANA. Thank you very much.
All right, well, that was a strategy talk from Gilg, and I can tell you it was a lot of information, so I tried to jot something extra down in my notes already. And maybe some of the highlights for me was definitely the sustainability aspect. And not only that SAP has that internal goal, but also that we want to help our customers be more sustainable. That, to me, is one of the core values here at SAP. Also the concept of, how we are clearly evolving to the ERP as a composable suite. So of course it has specific LOB functionalities and features, but they all need to work together. They all need to be integrated along those, what we call the end-to-end business processes. And another important aspect, of course, is the aspect of extensibility. We've talked about this before, but there's no software in the world that covers 100% all the use cases, all the business aspect, everything that you need. So you need to be able to adapt, you need to be able to extend, you need to be able to add features. And being able to add that with a flexible, agile manner is super important because, as we've seen with the pandemic, for example, things can change and things can change very quickly. So I think the main difference here is that we are clearly pointing our customers in one direction. We say, please do not modify the core. Even if you have an on-prem system where you technically can do it, please don't modify the core. We want you to benefit from all the updates and all the innovations and everything that we push to S/4HANA. So if you keep the core clean, it'll be easy for you to do that. Which is why we give you two options to extend S/4HANA. You can do an in-app extension, so that's basically some functionality within S/4HANA. These are mainly for minor adjustments, though we did see in the strategy talk that for S/4HANA Cloud, it will be extended, so you'll have more in-app extension functionality. But more importantly, we offer SAP Cloud Platform for you to do side-by-side extensions. And that means that you can leverage all the services, all the features, all the tools, everything that we've seen already so far for SAP Cloud Platform to build your cloud extension and to connect that to S/4HANA, because you can integrate it easily, of course, with the integration suite. And of course, I also thought it was very important how Jan mentioned that we incorporated the feedback of our customers and we adapted the release cycle of S/4HANA Cloud to make it so that they didn't have so many major releases in a year, but we still are able to provide continuous features updates. So Thomas, anything else that you'd like to add?
Yeah, of course, very interesting always is how you build these extensions. And I think APIs are an important part of that one. You have seen it, there's over 420 APIs already in the S/4HANA release. So there's a lot of things for you to build on. Always, again, where do you find the information? It's in the API Business Hub, so check it out there. I myself, like Cecilia showed me around a little bit today, we checked it out, went into the different features and functions. So there is a lot of APIs for you there. Also the events, and I think we talk about it tomorrow a little bit more, on how you build these extensions, like based on events. something to stay tuned for tomorrow, so I'm not giving away much more there.
No more spoilers, Thomas.
No.
More spoilers. But speaking of spoilers, what do we have coming up next?
Yeah, I think we talked about it from the SAP side, like, so what is in the S/4HANA coming? But as I said before, it's much more interesting also to see how customers applying S/4HANA in their daily life. And it's always great to get the folks who are there going through the journey and exploring what is there. And I think I'm very happy to introduce to you Tammy Powlas. She is a senior business analyst and mentor. Everybody knows Tammy. And also Michelle Crapo as an SAP developer. Everybody knows Michelle. So these are the two rock stars in the community, and they will talk about the tools to support a move to S/4HANA. And yeah, I have you here already. That's perfect. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Tammy.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi.
Good.
Good. So, tools to move to S/4HANA. Tammy, do you have a lot of knowledge around this? So with that, I don't want to hold you up. I saw a little bit like what you want to talk about it. So I hand it over to you, or to Michelle as the virtual host to guide you through the interview today. Over to you.
Thanks, Thomas.
Hi, Tammy. I'm so glad to be talking with you.
Thrilled to be here, Michelle.
Yay! You're one of my heroes, so this is a good thing. I am wondering, just as I'm sure a lot of people are, where are Fairfax Water at? Which stage?
That's a great question, Michelle. I think right now we're at the implement stage. We're preparing our plans to implement S/4HANA. The other stages, discover and explore. Explore is the longest one because you look at all the options to S/4HANA. Am I going to move to the cloud? Am I going to convert my on-premise system? Yeah, all those things, those take time. And then you have to see, does my ECC system even fit the move to S/4HANA? Am I Unicode compliant? Have I run the readiness check? Have I looked at the simplification items? Have I done all these things? So, but right now we're at the implement stage, getting the plans ready to implement in 2021.
I have to ask you, just because I like to know, are you implementing on-premise or on the cloud?
That's a great question. You can only convert on-premise. If you're going to S/4HANA Cloud, it's a new implementation, but it's on-premise for us. We're a water utility, and we use the SAP ISU solution. We've been using that since 2004, so we don't want to give up all our history of data and everything that we have in our ECC system. We want to do the migration to S/4HANA, so it's on-premise.
Great. And now, of course, this is what this session here is for. So there's all kinds of free things. Mm-hmm. What free things have you guys used?
Well, that's a great question. One of the things, of course, you want to get to this end state, and of course these slides are available with all these links. You want to get to this end state to build your business plan. This is like the final output at Fairfax Water, but you usually start with the readiness check. And the readiness check gives you a guide of where your system's at, how you can use it. I understand that there's more features now in the readiness check. It lets you know, is your financial system in compliance? Is there going to be an issue if you move to S/4HANA? These are free, and they're in the notes. And there's also blogs on the SAP community to look at the readiness check. It just gives you does all the checks in your system to see if you're ready to move, if your add-ons are ready as well. So these are in the slides. Also, I mentioned the simplification list, which can be quite big. One thing that we did do, we also joined the S/4HANA Move program. And what I liked about the S/4HANA Move program, it helps you define the strategy to move to S/4HANA, and you do it in conjunction with SAP support. And we did it earlier this year with other utilities and walking through all the free things that SAP has, the transformation navigator, the readiness check, this transition plan, where it's sort of like a decision tree. How will you move to S/4HANA? And this is a free offering from SAP support. We got to do it with, again, a lot of other utilities. I found it hugely helpful. So this is from the S/4HANA Move program. Again, more templates from the S/4HANA Move program, the transition plan, what kind of drivers you're going to have, and what are your KPIs, and what's good and bad about your system. Are you carrying too much in inventory? That's something that will be uncovered in this. It's a 90-day plan to move to S/4HANA, and again, it's free. You just have to apply, and all the links and information is in this PowerPoint, which hopefully will be available with the event. The other thing also that's free is there's a couple open SAP courses, open.sap.com, for both functional and technical. I consider myself more of a functional person, but I did both, the technical one as well, and those were huge help. The other thing that is, it's free because SAP doesn't charge you, but you do pay provider fees, is the SAP Cloud Appliance Library at cal.sap.com. I've activated the 1909 instances myself. I don't consider myself a technical person, but it's very easy to use. I think the cost to run the instance is minimal. I think the most I spent was $97 a month. So it's really worth it if you just want to get your hands on an S/4HANA instance that's on-premise. That's hugely helpful as well. So again, there's a lot of free things that you can do to move to S/4HANA. The other things that we did in late August and early September, we joined the 10 Steps to S/4HANA Bootcamp, and that's with the SAP Regional Implementation Group. To me, the true rock stars, superstars of SAP. We did it with 40 other companies, and 39 out of the 40 companies, we successfully did it. The one company had an issue with COVID, but we did the 10 steps, and huge help. The other thing that we've done recently that didn't make it in the slides, I'm actually in the middle of it this week, is the 5 Steps to Fiori Bootcamp. And again, that's with the SAP Regional Implementation Group. We're not paying anything for it. We're doing it with other companies as well. And you do it on your own sandbox. You activate the Fiori task list. One thing that I found in the exercises from today is something that I struggled with Fiori. I'm able to understand and learn through these exercises. And I wouldn't consider the move to S/4HANA just a technical thing. It's a business decision as well. And so for this boot camp, for both boot camps, you have functional people, basis people, and your developers all participating in the boot camp. So it's really fantastic offering at the SAP Regional Implementation Group. And I'm sure I'm missing more. Oh, and I almost forgot. SAP Enterprise Support, they have a lot of academies. They've got the Meet the Experts, which are like 1-hour webinars. They have expert guided implementation. They also have they have value maps. There's a nice S/4HANA value map from SAP Enterprise Support. And I joined one yesterday on the project management aspects of migrating and converting to S/4HANA. So, I mean, the list goes on, and I've got several links in these slides.
Great. My company, of course, made the transfer to HANA about 2 years ago. And at that time, we didn't look into, any of these tools. So it's really nice to be able to hear that they're out there. And one of the things I would suggest as well is to take advantage of some free training for your developers. So when you're up and running, you are up and running, and they can kick off with whatever they need to do, whatever modifications, whatever comes to mind. And they have all kind of training available. Me personally, CDS would be what I'd recommend. So what do you think the key things were that made or are making a successful move to HANA?
You know, I think the first key thing is building that business case, and we were really fortunate to have SAP come on site and give us the workshops. And I realize now with the pandemic, you know, most companies can't do that, and that's where this S/4HANA Move program comes in, because they essentially help you build your business case to S/4HANA and uncover the pain points that you may be experiencing with your ECC system. And that's a huge part of making the move to S/4HANA. It really should be a business decision, not so much a technical decision, I think, because it sets the platform to make yourself what do they say, Google fast and Apple simple, right? So you're on your way to make your SAP system Google fast and Apple simple.
Awesome. I like that. And having the business behind you is such a big deal, especially since, you know, they're the ones who are going to have to run it after it goes live. So one of the more technical type questions I'm going to ask is, how about the table structure changes in HANA compared to the older systems?
You know, that's a good question, especially for finance and materials management. The tables change dramatically, but that's kind of a benefit. And I know our finance team is really looking forward to everything being in the Universal Journal and not having to deal with the complexities with BSEG. I know I dealt with that just today, in fact. But our finance team is really looking forward to having everything in the Universal Journal and the ACT.A tables. And I know that the BSEG tables will still be around in compatibility mode, but it'll be a little bit slower. So, and I know in materials management, you know, things go from the MSEG table to the MATDoc table. So I think our business, our super users, our key users, they'll find that so much simpler than what we're dealing with today. And I think we're really looking forward to the simplification of the Universal Journal. And I personally, you know, having been through the 5-step Fiori boot camp, because I'm also an accountant, an ex-accountant, a CPA, I'm really excited about the journal entry being in a T account format in Fiori. I mean, you know, as an accountant, you can't ask for anything more than the debits and credits being shown in the T account, because, you know, what years ago with R3, you know, your first question, what's this posting key 40 thing, you know? So now, you know, now it's more in business terms and things, and it's really nice that SAP is making these flows available, you know, your purchase rec, purchase order, goods receipt flow, all available in a nice Fiori screen for you. So I think it's a huge change. And I think we're also excited about all the analytical views and the virtual data models that come, that you can just go to the query browser and be able to see things and have those out-of-the-box analytics that come with S/4HANA, you know, and accounts payable aging, for instance. You know, that just makes life easier than the standard ABAP screens that they see and are used to today.
Right. So that's got to be a huge advantage, because you know what? Then your customers are cheering for it to work instead of fighting with it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, nice win there. So how about the organizations? How about your organization? Do you feel that any other company as well, could move to HANA without any partner?
You know, that's another good question, Michelle. I don't think when we started this journey with, you know, a couple sapphires ago with SAP, I don't think we intended to do it by ourselves. It just sort of happened that way. I think we were, you know, we've taken advantage of all these free tools from SAP, from SAP Enterprise Support, Open SAP. And what's even better with this TechEd, you get the a free 3-month subscription to the Learning Hub. The Learning Hub has a lot of detail, a lot of how to migrate to S/4HANA. I used those steps from the Learning Hub. I mean, that is really fantastic. So I mean, now's the time to take advantage of these free tools. Now, the partners have a wide breadth of experience. A lot of them have factories, to move to S/4HANA. They've got more broad-based experience. So I wouldn't say to rule them out. I think for us right now, we've done 2 sandbox conversions, one 1809, one 1909, and we feel like we can do it. But that's not to say that partners have a lot of tools, and when we've had these discussions with the ASUG, America's SAP User Group, partners always come to the table with free tools as well. They offer free assessments of your S/4HANA system. They've got several things that'll help you move to S/4HANA depending on the complexity. So there's a lot of things you can do, and I keep forgetting tools that are free today. Like there's a data volume management that comes out of Solution Manager that'll help you understand what you need to clean out. One of the key comments from Sapphire was when you move houses, you clean out your closet. So when you're moving to S/4HANA, you want to clean out your old data out of your system. And SAP Enterprise Support and Solution Manager have a lot of data volume management tools to help you ease that move and go and make that move faster.
Yeah. How many, just because I'm curious, how many people internally did it take for this project?
Well, we have our functional team. I don't even count. We've got a functional team, and we have a really small developer team, and we have a couple of people on basis, and then our hosting partners. So we're a small shop, but I think part of our mission is to be a low-cost, high-quality water utility for our customers. And I'm a customer of Fairfax Water, so I definitely want to be as efficient as I can be, for me and our customers in Fairfax Water. So it's a small team.
Well, that's good news, right? So did you have any challenge making a business case or justifying the cost? I mean, we just went through how you want to try and save the money that you can.
Initially, I think by bringing in the business and showing them the Universal Journal and how easy it is to report out of S/4HANA, I think our business is on board. They saw the enterprise search, out of S/4HANA and loved that. So I think the business case was made pretty simple by doing that. I think people are pretty happy with what they saw in helping ease the pain points, some of it being reporting, some of it being able, because like right now we're a transaction-oriented shop, and that can be intimidating if you're a new employee. So it'd be nice to just say, okay, here's your Fiori screen of your, accounts payable 60-day aging, and as an accountant, here's my journal, my journal analyzer T accounts, which is, I think, as an ex-accountant, I absolutely love that. I just think that's the best thing. And then again, every workshop, they loved that enterprise search that comes with S/4HANA. So I think everybody's pretty excited. And like you asked earlier about the ease of reporting, it'll be nice to not have to worry about BSIG and the index tables. You're a technical person, BSIC, all those tables that that now you have to go to and look at. And a lot of the reporting is ad hoc, especially now with COVID. We don't have a good reporting is a challenge because you're being asked for different things than before. So hopefully the move to S/4HANA will help that.
Wow. So that sounds like a great business case that, anyone with accounting department's going to love. So I have a final question for you. Mm-hmm. Do you have any last advice for making the move from an R3 to a HANA system?
I think just to start now, you got to commit the time and, join the S4HANA Move program if you can. Take advantage of the open SAP courses. You're a TechEd attendee. Take advantage of that free 3-month subscription to the Learning Hub. I happen to like the Learning Hub a lot. I get a lot of value out of that Learning Hub. And then enterprise support. Join the S4HANA Enterprise Support S4HANA Value Map, because the enterprise support has a lot of offerings. And don't forget the SAP Regional Implementation Group boot camps, 5 steps to Fiori, 10 steps to Fiori, 10 steps to S4HANA boot camp. All excellent offerings, and start today.
Well, that all sounds great, and it sounds like a lot of helpful advice for people that are going to make the move. The only thing I would add is that SAP community has a lot to offer too. Especially if you get stuck with a question, you can go ask it. So that's my 10 cents, and back to the studio.
Perfect. Perfect, and you heard it. If you move, you clean your house. That's a great advice. I really like it, Tammy, Michelle. Thank you so much. And we're on to the next topic, digital transformation.
Yeah, so we already saw it. We had a strategy talk from Gilg. We had this great community talk with Tammy and Michelle, and just gave us a lot of information on digital transformation. But as you guys already know, and I say this a lot, there is a content track for digital transformation. So there are lectures, breakouts, workshops, expert Q&As, everything wrapped into one, roadmap sessions, of course. And who better to tell us or give us a quick overview of everything that's available in this digital transformation track than Gilg himself. So let's watch the video.
We all talk about the big picture, but do you know what happens behind the scene? For more than 14,000 SAP S/4HANA customers, the answer is a resounding yes. On the 5th anniversary of our first release of SAP S/4HANA. Hi, I'm Gilg, President of SAP S/4HANA. Join us online at SAP TechEd and visit our dynamic track focused on the world of digital transformation with Intelligent ERP. If you're a developer, engineer, architect, or IT manager, you'll learn how you can deliver end-to-end intelligent business processes with SAP S/4HANA. We'll explore key topics like extensibility opportunities, our migration cockpit for new implementations, business process innovations like value chain analysis, and our roadmap for SAP S/4HANA Cloud. Join me at SAP TechEd, where strategy talks, customer sessions, co-innovation jams, and roadmap will be available at your fingertips.
All right, so you heard it from Jan himself. All the information is available in the digital transformation track. And to gain access to that, all you have to do is go to the event website, register, and then you can check out all the content there. Now, in this past hour, we've heard from Jan, strategy, all the information that's up and coming for S/4HANA and S/4HANA Cloud. We've also heard from the community with kind of tips and tricks on what tools you can use to move to S/4HANA. And I think there's one group that's missing, right? What do we have coming up next?
Yeah, it's all about ecosystem around the digital transformation as well. So this is very important. There's a broad partner network in the SAP environment to tell you more about how you can enhance even further and extend your applications. So we have 2 great talks coming up. One is from SUSE. They implemented S/4HANA in the cloud on their own, and they have like really good deep tips on how to run and operate this. And the second talk is from Splunk, looking into more of the monitoring aspect and how to prepare, make it really cloud ready, and etc. So a solution from Splunk. So 2 very deep technical talks from partners. So this is always great to see, and looking totally forward to learn more about them.
Okay, awesome. So I guess that's coming up next. So yeah, we'll see you guys in a bit. Be right back.